What's up, guys? This is the General Damage Podcast, and if I'm the one who's introing it, you know it's been nine episodes since the last time. Woohoo! I gotta do it again. Every 9. I get to do
every
it again.
time.
Every time.
Every 9.
I get to feel powerful, and it's great.
Yeah, and the next time you do it, it'll be 90.
Hells to the yeah, motherfuckers.
And then after that, it'll be 99, which is really cool because it'll be just before 100.
Mm-hmm. And I'll make sure that that I light things on fire, and make sure to trigger a alarm in my house, and that way it's more theatrical.
Excellent.
Or we could just be one of those douchebag DJ radio places that has like a soundboard of stupid effect sounds.
All right, time to go get me one of those and just kind of have mooing sounds on the 99th episode. Just hit the moo button 16 times and then intro myself and then moo
an
16
air horn.
times. Yeah, an air horn, some shit like that. God,
Yeah.
that sounds the worst.
It does sound like the worst. We're not those kinds of people.
All right.
But I'm Nick.
I'm Will,
And I'm Shane.
and boy, am I tired.
Well, you tired?
Well,
You're always tired.
So I'm always tired, but I think I'm tired probably for legitimate reasons these days. And a lot of it comes down to how much walking I've been doing every week now. And it's just by this point in the day, I'm feeling tired from it. I did my walk a little bit later, so I'm probably feeling more tired immediately than I usually do. But yeah, I'm I've been getting 3+ miles a day these days, which is good considering how fucking little I was walking. 3.25 miles today. So it's a fuck ton more mileage covered than I don't know, the month of August.
Yeah, for sure.
To give perspective.
Not considering that you're kind of laid up, so.
Yeah, seriously. So, I'm just a yawny mess right now, so I'm going to apologize in advance for that.
Alright. Before we hit any topics, we hit 100 people on Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah, it's exciting.
We just kept smacking people until we had 100.
Yeah, kept abusing people, making new accounts, making fake accounts, totes doing
Yeah,
that.
doing all the things that you do on the internet, right?
Right, exactly. All those shady practices that people do, doing 100% of none of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even though we're recording this now on Thursday, Friday, I'll create some sort of Photoshop thing celebrating 100. I don't know what yet. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, you have time to kill. It's fine. It'll come to you in a flash.
Or at least while I'm asleep.
Yeah, exactly, dude. That's when half that shit comes to me.
I find that annoying. It's I want to go to sleep. Hey, here's an idea. Fucking no.
I go out of my way now to just write it down as quickly and aggressively as I can, and be fuck it, go to sleep now. We got there.
Yeah.
We did it.
Yeah, that's probably what I should fucking do, and I never do. Because my desk is so far away from my bed.
Gotcha. Just keep a notebook next to your bed, and then just...
Oh well, now you're just talking sense, and fuck you.
I listen. I understand that I'm talking sense, and I understand that a lot of it's lost on us. But hey, man, figure I'd voice it.
Don't be so full of common sense, you motherfucker.
Hey, I
Someone's
try
gotta have
not. I try not to be. Clearly I've proven that's accurate. But sometimes you just gotta open your mouth and do things, say things.
Yeah, see, this is why we'd never be a couple, Will.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'd say something smart and intelligent. You'd yell at me, and that would be the end of it.
Yeah. Which is why I introduce you as my hetero life mate. It's a little bit more cohesive.
It's a good way of looking at it.
True that.
That's how we met Fox's boyfriend a couple weeks ago, and I think he was trying to remember everyone's name.
Yeah.
He kept getting confused, and then I just introduced myself I'm Nick, and this is my hetero life mate Will, and I just walked away, and he's like, "What?" I think he was even more confused after that.
Jason, I know you're listening. We love you, and I'm not sure if you've seen Jay or Silent Bob, but if you haven't seen a Kevin Smith film, I'll fix that.
He'll fix you real good, is what he's saying.
Watch, if I can recommend a Kevin Smith film, watch, besides Clerks, watch Dogma.
Yeah, I was going to say Dogma would be the one I would recommend as well.
Yeah, and I think that's where he says it.
And then if you want to get a funny joke in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, you need to watch Chasing Amy.
Oh, yeah.
It's for one joke.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, for kind of a lackluster joke, but yeah.
Oh, I thought it was pretty great.
But you know, if there's two Kevin Smith films to watch, it's Dogma and Chasing Amy.
Yeah. It's funny because if you watch Chasing Amy, you're like, wow, that was really deep. And then if you watch Dogma, you're kind of like, how did he make that? And then do
you don't think
this?
Dogma's deep? I think Dogma's pretty deep.
I mean, Dogma's actually, I think Dogma's interestingly deep in a way that when you think about it, like if you were to straight up ask an atheist how you think it would work, I think that's what you get is Dogma.
Yeah, Dogma has like one of the most interesting scenes in it. I don't know, I can't explain why I find it so compelling, but it's the scene after Ben Affleck and Matt Damon's characters get thrown off the train, and then they have this argument in the parking garage. And the way they have the argument, how they're talking about the war between heaven and hell, and what Lucifer did, and all that stuff. I don't know why. I just like it because there's something about that scene. The way they talk about they were there, they saw this war happen. They saw what happens when you turn on God, and I like that scene a lot.
I mean, it's definitely the writing is really good. One of my favorite all-time scenes is the Buddy Christ.
Oh yeah, Buddy Christ. That's a great joke throughout the whole film.
Oh, it's just, and because what's his George Kaplan?
George Carlin.
Carlin, sorry. The way he just delivers it.
Yeah,
he's just so fucking good.
Well, I mean, they got the king of atheists to play a clergy. Ugh. A cardinal of all things. So yeah, it's kind of it's irony 101.
Yeah. And speaking of top tier movies, though, an interesting trailer released.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, I have not watched it.
Yeah, and I respect it, Shane. I tell you you're wrong, but I respect it.
Well, so if we're talking about the Star Wars trailer, by the way, because that is something we all can agree on.
Oh my god!
It finally dropped. I was the one that's been wanting it to drop for a long, long time.
Yep.
I watched it. I think I watched it twice. Mm-hmm. Not like back to back, but I think I watched it twice.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
Yep.
Kylo Ren looks like he's more set on a path to be better.
Yes.
The whole thing looks awesome. The upcoming battles look great. I kind of know. I want to know because when The Force Awakens came, they introduced the quote unquote new trio, which was going to be Finn, Rey, and Poe. Mm-hmm. And I just want to know: are Rey and Poe ever gonna have a scene where they're interacting? Because they haven't yet. I mean, we've only had one movie, but it's like the only one that connects the two is Finn.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, if these guys are the new trio, make them the new trio.
I mean, they may not be the new trio. They may just they may just appear to be. But I mean, they may be waiting for a more powerful moment.
Yeah, and, I mean, yeah, there's that too.
Yeah, and the first movie, albeit they're like, there's some good scenes, some strong scenes. Giving it like waiting for them to have like, because that trailer comes off as very intense. Like the second movie is going to be very intense. That'll give reasons for the three of them, if that's the direction they're going, for the three of them to meet up and kind of have that. that kind of new trio collaborative moment that we kind of got in the other movies, in New Hope, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back. So
if anything, it's gonna be Finn is going to drag one of the other two to the other one. So he's gonna have him and Poe meet up with Rey, and that's how they're gonna finally become a trio or something like that and go on another adventure, or it could go a whole other route. Who the fuck knows?
Right.
There's a few. Rian Johnson said on Twitter to a fan, "Don't watch it if you don't want spoilers."
Okay.
I watched it twice. I don't know what spoilers he's talking about. There's not. I don't think it gives away anything.
I think. I mean, I don't think it straight away goes, this is how it's going to play out. I do think it does give... there is a fair amount of information that is given. And if that's... Like, again, as trailers go, it's a meaty trailer. It's one of those ones that, it's been a long time coming. So I can respect saying, hey, if you don't want anything spoiled for you, if you don't want to kind of, be led in a certain direction via the trailer, don't watch it. I can totally respect that, because it could cause you to believe something is going to happen one way, and it may or may not. So like I can get behind that comment, because there is a lot that I don't think there are any scenes we saw in this new trailer that we'd ever seen in any of the other trailers, I want to say, or maybe they're like one or two, but it was mostly like new footage and new content.
This was definitely like 90% new footage, for sure.
So I think in that capacity, if you don't want certain scenes to lead you to believe one thing or the other, then yes, you don't watch it. And again, we're trying not to spoil anything for Shane because he's not seen it.
I mean, I haven't seen it, not necessarily because of spoilers, but it's more like, Nick's talked about this before, where it's like, if you watch a movie, right, and then you see the trailer, and at some point you see the movie, certain things lose punch because you're seeing it for the second time, right?
Yeah.
And that's just kind of what it is.
You're seeing it for the second time in a different context.
Yeah. But my thing is, like, I just kind of want to see, like, I kind of want to see this Star Wars movie, and like in a way where it's like always full blast.
Sure.
Right.
And that's just this time around. I mean, I'm not really sure if I'll do it for all of them, but for this one, I'm like, might as well, because I watched a lot of the other trailers.
Yeah.
And while I didn't necessarily ruin the movies, it definitely was like, I was anticipating things a little too much, is what it felt like.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, the whole reason I stopped doing that was because of the Guardians of the Galaxy thing. I knew too much.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm like, for me, it's going to be the trailer or trailers, and I'm done. I don't want to see any behind the scenes stuff. I don't want to see clips. I don't want to see how they did this. I'll watch all that shit after I see the movie.
Definitely, without even watching the trailer. Even like those kind of first initial trailers, this one's going to be the dark movie.
It definitely had a Empire feel to it. Empire Strikes Back.
It does, and I'm hoping that they can keep that tone and make it original, because that would do a lot to set up the third movie that we've gotten every time, which is kind of the revenge movie or the counterattack movie or the resurgence movie, what have you. I just hope that that they keep the tone dark and sinister, and that there's worry for the characters' well-being and their kind of motives, and that they just don't kind of ham it.
Same.
But I feel like they know what they want to do, So I don't think I'm too worried.
I'm not worried. It looks great, and December 15th, it's coming out, and I'm just not gonna watch it any more shit that involves Star Wars, because again, that's how I get spoiled.
Yeah, I don't think we are gonna get anything, and if we do, I feel like that's weird, because you played your hand real close for the longest time, and then you just laid it bare. You don't need to do anything else. This I think is the last trailer they should ever think about, because it is all you really need to see for a final trailer.
If we get a third trailer, it will just be more gratuitous.
Yeah, it'd be redundant.
We just be seeing different cuts of the same thing and whatever. Yeah. The thing that the trailer did for me is I enjoyed it. I was happy. Yes, we finally got it. But it did not take long for everyone to turn cynical.
Well, that's the internet.
Yeah, I know it's the internet, but it drove me nuts, because it was just as I'm scrolling through just things I frequent, people just have to point out the most obvious shit, and it just drives me a bit nuts. It's okay, I need to get away from this crap.
Well, that's why I've just given up on that, on looking at that shit, because I'm sweet, we're just gonna have a bunch of complacent people whining about useless garbage for the next week, and then we'll hear nothing about it ever again. Cool. Yeah. I don't even need to give two shits. My when it comes down to it, it's did I like it? Fuck yeah, great. Did other people that I know like it? Yes or no? I want to hear why they didn't. I don't want it to go too deep. I'll respect their decision, but I know where I stand. My stance is on it, and that's kind of all I give a fuck, because God, it's something that we've talked about a lot. The internet, kind of its own toxic environment, and
for sure.
I have no joy to read people's shit posting daily.
Shit posting and memeing and all that stuff, because for some reason everyone starts hating. I forgot what it's called, but the little creature that we saw in it.
Oh, the little, penguin thingy? That thing looks cute and goofy.
People fucking hate it.
They
and everyone's it's going to be another Jar Jar.
If it speaks, maybe, sure, yeah.
No, I don't think it can speak.
No,
if anything, I think, if anything, it does chewy noises. Or it's equivalent of chewy noises.
That I saw people go apeshit for was that there was a picture of, this ice fox.
Oh, yeah. That thing looks interesting. I want to know more. Okay, creature-wise, I want to know more about the creatures, but I'm holding it back. I'll dive into this shit in December, in late December. That's the only thing I've seen
from the trailer. Mm-hmm. And that kind of just reinforced my I don't want to see anything else.
Sure.
Because I saw that, and I was just wow, that's so fucking cool.
Yeah. If you don't want to see anything else, if that's the only thing you've seen, leave it at that. I would say try and just, hide as much of, if you like it or follow any Star Wars fan sites through Facebook or any social media, just unfollow or hide them until December.
I think someone made a Facebook thing where I could just put hashtag Star Wars and it won't show me anything.
Yeah, do that because you'll get spoiled, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I was going to bring up the Rick and Morty Szechuan sauce thing, comparing that to people being dickheads, but I don't want to talk about that anymore, because I was already in a foul mood before we started.
Honestly, I don't want to talk about it because it's just stupid.
It's its own stupid debacle, and I could care less about it.
It makes me want to go Negan on a few people. Yeah.
I feel
if anyone needs to do that, it's... Yeah. Anyway.
Well,
speaking of Star Wars, since we're still on the Star Wars thing, I played the beta for Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
It was okay. I wasn't... I mean, it's damn pretty. It looks really cool. The beta had two things. You can play... Or three things. You could play you can fight on Naboo in the Separatist War with the robots and shit.
Okay.
The prequel era. And the problem I had with Battlefront is it's also based off of Battlefield. So you weren't getting a straight deathmatch. It was objectives. Each side had a different objective, and you had to accomplish the objective, which was counter to one objective. And it's also very class-based, and you have to play the right classes to motivate with your team. So that I was screwing up on, so I didn't really care. But that part was all right. The flying stuff, which is what I was looking forward to, where you had to, it was between Rebels and Empire. So you had, I think you had on the Empire side, you had the regular TIE fighter, the Interceptor, and then the bomber. And if you got so many points throughout the game by killing enemies and completing objectives, you get more and more points, accumulate these points, and then you can buy a hero ship, like Boba Fett's ship. And I played it. Flying felt really stiff, which sucked. Like, the TIE fighter felt like it turned, I don't want to say like a tank, but the turning felt really bad. And just flying in general felt really bad. So
that's kind of a letdown.
Yeah, it was kind of a letdown. I played for as much as I could, but it was just kind of a letdown because, I want a fun flying game and I want to shoot and have like this great time, and it felt lacking. It also kind of made me after I got out of that game, it kind of made me question, like, where the fuck are all the flying arcade games? Like, where's like the games like Crimson Skies and Sacred Weapons Over Normandy and Jedi Starfire? Those were great games. I don't know if you guys played any of them, but they're fantastic.
They just don't exist anymore. There's not really an audience for it as much.
I'm an audience.
Well,
I'd love to play those games.
You're definitely one. But yeah, there isn't like, I don't know. We haven't seen any because there hasn't been a demand for it. Realistically.
Yeah, I just think it's people are following. We talked about that before, where people just follow the market trend, which is why every game now has fucking loot boxes.
I mean, if it makes money.
Yeah, well, give me a goddamn flying game.
Yeah, I mean, if it becomes in demand again.
Yeah, I would love like a remake of Crimson Skies. I'd buy that in a heartbeat.
They're bringing it to the Xbox One.
Really?
Yeah, that's one of the things they announced, if I remember correctly. They announced at E3 this past year with the whole thing with their new console, the X. They're bringing back some old games to the new console.
Huh, I did not know this. I would hope it's to the Xbox One in general, not just to the newer one.
Right. Well, that's the thing that they kind of made clear in their press conferences. Look, everything that you're seeing, you're seeing is, we're showing off our new console, but that doesn't detract from our consoles that already exist.
Okay.
Yeah. Here it is. Xbox One gets original Xbox backwards compatibility with Crimson Skies. So yeah, there are like a few more that they're looking at as well. But Crimson Skies was the one that I remember them showing off, and I was like, oh shit, that's fucking dope.
Sweet, I fucking love that game.
Yeah, so that one's gonna get a backwards compatibility.
Nice.
Yep. So shit to look forward
to. Yeah, I am seriously looking forward to that. That game came out 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, freshmen are in that.
So Nick, you're definitely not alone in the fact that people love that game, because it is definitely one of the most hyped and well played and well loved games. And it clearly shows it's enough for them to go, all right, let's make it backwards compatible. Finally, let's do this. Let's bring it to the audience that really loves it and wants it. So yeah, that's something to look forward to. That's not a new game.
Yeah, I'm hoping that that's a tested ground, that they look at that. Oh, hey, wow, people really like these flying games. Let's update it. Let's make it more flying games.
I think if it does, it's one of those things. If it does very well, like if a lot of people hop back on it, a lot of people pick it up, that may lead down to kind of that new market trend.
Let's hope. I'd be fingers crossed for that.
Yeah, so that's kind of something. It's something to look out. Looking to. I don't know. I don't know when it's going to be backwards compatible. I don't remember them I don't remember them giving a date, and I was trying to look to see if there was one, and I unfortunately can't find anything on it. So, it's something for your radar for sure, dude.
For sure, it's on my radar now. But to go back to the Battlefront stuff, if I were to get the game, I'd probably wait until it's on sale, like extremely on sale, like $20 or less. Because the other thing was, I told Will this, I told Shane this, but I don't want to get into it too much. Here's the thing. The one thing is, I always defend EA because too many people attack it, and they attack the games, and to me, it's stupid how people attack EA. But the thing I don't like that EA does is they just keep putting up gates, and it was like my gamer tag on Xbox should be good enough for me to get into your games. I should not have to make another ID, another profile for you. It was ridiculous, and it's like it's soured my my disposition on EA just because they keep putting up walls. Activision doesn't do that, and Blizzard doesn't do that. Like, just let me play the fucking game. I don't want to have to fill out another profile just to play yours. But yeah, that was my problem with it. Hopefully we'll get better Star Wars games. That's all I have to say.
Well, yeah. Hopefully EA, because is it EA that strictly owns they own the rights to Battlefront?
Do.
Was there other companies that ended up picking up other Star Wars IPs when LucasArts kind of changed hands?
When Disney acquired LucasArts and basically Star Wars, everything Star Wars, I think they only went to EA, the big mouse, who owns half the fucking world. Went to EA, who's basically a big fish in a little pond, and said, "You're gonna make our Star Wars games." And EA, being a little bitch, said, "Okay, yeah, sure."
Well, it's money in the pocket.
Because it knew it was gonna make $1 billion essentially. So I think it's just EA.
Okay.
But the only games we've got from them are 2 Battlefront games.
Yeah, it's been pretty sparse.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's like a million other fucking things branded Star Wars right now, so
true.
I can only take so much fill.
Yeah. But it's like I want like an action adventure game, and like everyone's talking about the failed what was it? Star Wars 1313?
Yeah, 1313.
Yeah. They're supposedly taking whatever that game was, and they're gonna make something else with it, but the same vibe. And I think the team that did Dead Space supposedly
is working on it. Yeah.
Is working on it.
But we haven't heard anything about that in God knows how long.
Well, what was it? Disney bought LucasArts 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Around this time.
Mm-hmm.
And in that time, we've got 3 years later. After that, we got one Battlefront game, and now 5 years after it, we've gotten a second Battlefront game, and we haven't gotten a single other type of game. So at this point, who the fuck knows?
Right.
I just hope EA is just not going to go, well, let's just make more multiplayer games and use loot boxes.
Well, it's kind of the EA... that's kind of the market trend right now on what's making money. So, AAA companies, they're kind of... I don't know. The feel a lot of the time is the creativity spirit is kind of dead, and you just got to go with kind of what the cash cow is.
Because so many players have been complaining about the loot box fiascos in a lot of games, especially games that don't need it, like Shadow of War.
God, yeah, I heard about that. That's retarded.
Yeah. Ubisoft came out saying, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that with our game. Origins doesn't have anything like that. It's cool. We're cool still, right? That's basically the statement that they put out. because I think there is a multiplayer component in that game, but they're not heavily microtransactioning it with it. The funny thing is, the problem with loot boxes is the game that did loot boxes, which is Overwatch, has done loot boxes right. You know, it's skins. It's
they're not the first ones to do it. Really.
Right.
Blizzard's is just a good system.
I mean, theirs is good. I still think it's broken.
In the case of Battlefront, it's not pay to win. Literally, in Battlefront, it could be pay to win.
Right. There are too many. I mean, to go back to the Shadow, was it Shadow of War? Is the new game? Yeah. That one is a pay to win system, and I think that's awful.
That's paid to speed up your win.
Well, they're
in a single player game.
They're apparently legendary ogres that are locked behind it. That you have to grind to get those, and you can only get them from the loot boxes. That's awful.
That's horseshit.
That is a miserable thing. It's like, why would I ever want to do that?
I'm not sure that's worth it.
That's exactly my feeling as well. It's like, I could either enjoy a game and never have to throw money at it, in hopes to get really, broken, powerful things, or I could play spend $60 initially on this game, maybe buy DLC down the road that has more content for me, and feel good. Destiny has a loot box system as well. It's the you buy silver to get bright engrams, and they give you cosmetic things. They give you sometimes they give you useful things. You can get a ghost from it. You can get a sparrow, which is your kind of your jet bike that you roll around on most of the planets, or you could get a ship, some unique some specific shaders to only that type of engram, legendary ornaments. But the thing is, no matter what, you're always getting the kind of extra currency that you use at that kind of it's that kiosk in the game, which is dust. All those things that you get from it break down into dust, and you can use that to buy whatever's on sale or in that rotation using dust. And every week you're guaranteed to get 3 bright engrams as long as you're playing, because as you regain a level, you get a bright engram. So they're kind of following the same system that Overwatch has, which is it's all about cosmetic. It does nothing to the game.
Yeah,
it doesn't make the game better. It doesn't make the game worse.
That's how it should be.
Overwatch has done it in such a Blizzard's done it in such a way where it's super addictive.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, yeah.
Because you get a level, you get a loot box, right?
Right.
And, which is cool. But in Heroes of the Storm, it's really bad because you get a rare chest when you level up. Every 5 levels, you get a epic chest.
Right.
Or, correction, it's a common chest, rare chest, and then every 25 levels is an epic chest, and you get some jewels, which can be used to transaction for more boxes. Or other shit. It's funny, though, because, I like that system because it rewards you for playing constantly.
Right.
And it's not too bad. However, I also see the addictive... I can see how it plays to people's addictive nature.
Sure.
So it's a double-edged sword.
Well, this is the thing where this territory that it kind of goes into. Are loot boxes considered gambling?
Possibly. I don't.
Think there's a lot in favor in both directions. Because it is pretty shitty.
Okay. Well, actually, can I use this to dive into what I wanted to talk about?
Sure, go for it, man.
All right. It's Halloween time. Mm-hmm. Overwatch is doing Junkenstein's Revenge, which was the Halloween event for last year. This year, they added an Endless Horde mode.
Yeah.
Which does something really obnoxious, which is after a certain point, they have different bosses. And then, the bosses just start piling up on the bonus rounds. So you'll have, 4 Junkrats and, 3 Roadhogs and 2 Mercies. All running around trying to kill you, and it really sucks. But the Halloween event this year, and I don't want to talk about it too long, but it's actually on the same subject about the loot boxes. So, at the start of every event, they give you 1 free loot box.
Right.
And it's guaranteed to have one free item. Or it's not guaranteed to have, but it's more or less really high up of getting a Halloween-based item, right?
Yeah.
Well, I got this for the Halloween event, and one of the skins I got was the Witch Mercy skin from last year. Now, this wouldn't be a big deal, except for the part where I saved up 3,000 gold to buy skins from last year because they got reduced down to 1,000 from 3,000. Getting the Mercy one was kind of getting slapped in the face because I'm like, God damn it, I wanted one of the new ones.
Right.
Because those cost 3,000 gold. Now, granted, I'm not really bitching because at the end of the month, I'm still going to get last year's Junkrat, last year's Roadhog, and last year's Reaper. The cool thing, though, about the Halloween event stuff is, like, they really put the effort in of trying to create better skins, which is great, but then it's like, shit, it goes back into that, fuck, I really want the loot boxes to get the skins, because the skins are really nice, and sometimes people don't play because they don't really care for the skins, other times people just go ham because they want to grind out for loot, they want to grind levels for loot boxes. With the Halloween event, what I thought was really cool was you got a loot box for completing regular Junkenstein's Revenge. You got a loot box for completing endless Junkenstein's Revenge, and then on top of it, you could grind out. You could play through those games to get your daily wins for your arcade. Every 3 wins get you a loot box up to 9 wins, so it's like 3 loot boxes. And I did that, and you know, like at the same time, while it is really cool, it is also a weird feeling just playing something over just because you're like, shit, I really just want to get this thing. That said, though, I want to show you the skin. I think they did the one I'm most impressed with, because Blizzard does this thing where they create cosmetics, right? And a lot of time creating cosmetics can be kind of like, I've seen I was there for the early, like, season 1, season 2 of League of Legends, so I remember how skins kind of used to be. And it's cool to see that, at least when it comes to cosmetic stuff, that companies could try to make it worthwhile. Though I'm not sure where they're putting the limit. But this year they have one, which is the Symmetra skin, which was like the coolest looking thing I think I've seen out of them so far. I'm just gonna throw a link to you guys. She's a dragon. That's the skin. She's a
Interesting.
And also she shows up in Junkenstein's Revenge, which I thought was cool because I told you guys last year, Junkenstein's Revenge is a horde mode, but it's not random, it's sequenced, right? You know where the bosses are going to appear. And what they did was they put Symmetra in, and she's called the Summoner, and she spawns a fucking shield generator, which gives not only the horde fucking shields, it gives her a shield, it gives the other bosses a shield if she lives long enough. And then it also gives tires, the fucking tires that pop up shields. This is a gallery for all the skins, so you can see all the cool legendary skins that came out.
Yeah.
And it's neat. Halloween events are always fun. I think in terms of, like, what, you know, going back to, like, loot boxes and stuff, I know people who will drop $50, $20 to buy extra loot boxes, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think there's nothing wrong. People could do what they want with their money, but it is a little bit weird with Overwatch because it's a game you already paid money for.
Right.
Yeah. It's weird for a game like Shadow of War, which is single
Shadow
player.
of War strikes a weird chord with me. Shadow of War is a little bit concerning.
Yeah, it is. But here's the thing: I really want it to blow up in people's faces, and especially in Warner Brothers Entertainment's face, because if no one's going to spend the money to get those legendary orcs,
yeah,
I would hope that they're not, like, you know.
I mean, to be real, like, we'll see how that goes. I think.
Yeah, it's not dissuading me from getting that game, though.
To be honest, I'm kind of, like, on the fence about Shadow of War.
Why?
More or less just because I kind of want to see how it feels. I kind of want to, like, gauge people's honest reviews of the game. I haven't had the time to really look into it yet. Sure. I really like Shadow of Mordor, and that was a cool game. I'm just kind of hoping they didn't miss some notes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get you. I get what you're saying.
I don't think that.
But I
the in-game trans actually doesn't necessarily really bother me too much because I'm just obviously not going to pay. But it feels weird knowing it's in there because it's just kind of like, I feel like if you're going to make players work for the best stuff, it shouldn't be random like that. It should be more as a late game part of like working through it.
Yeah, and it just doesn't make any sense for a single player game because the way the heads of the studio put it, it's like, well, this is way so you can finish the game faster. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone that wants to finish a game faster like that. You know, speedrunners want to finish it fast, but not by cheating it. Not like, you know, obviously cheating it. So it's weird. I think it's very weird.
I mean, it's definitely it does not leave one with a vote of confidence necessarily.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's weird. Just a quick thought to get off the subject and get back on the subject. So the last MechWarrior game we got when I looked it up before we started the podcast was MechWarrior 4, and we got it in 2000.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, and now MechWarrior 5 was announced.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'll post it. Seriously. Well, the other thing was, it's like they didn't think that it could compete with all the online games that were going on currently.
I mean, that's a fair assessment.
And the only way I think they said was if MechWarrior Online was going to be successful, and it's been fairly successful. There is an interest with it, so they got the green light to make MechWarrior 5, and the pre-alpha gameplay that they have out and the trailer look, pretty promising.
I mean, I'll play it.
Yeah, I definitely would like to play it too. So
I mean,
I would like to also play the BattleTech game that's coming out, the strategy game too. But yeah, MechWarrior 5 is probably in 2018. Yeah. I'm not.
I'm looking at a slated to release 2018. No official date yet.
Yeah, 2018 to me is a bit far-fetched.
We'll see. I mean, it depends on how far they're willing to push certain parts of the game.
Yeah,
true. But yeah, definitely looking forward to that because I like MechWarrior. So it's a fun game, fun brand.
You know, it's funny. MechWarrior is one of the few competitive games like I really would like to see for esports. Because
it's a slow game,
but it was cool. Like, do you remember? I think it was Arena. It was a G4 show.
Mm-hmm.
And basically,
love that show.
And Arena had people like sometimes they would play MechWarrior, and it was just fun to watch that. Because
are you sure it was MechWarrior or MechAssault?
It may have been MechAssault.
Because MechAssault was the faster of the two.
Yeah, I mean, it was MechAssault on the PC because I don't remember. Because it was all PC games.
I don't remember.
But I mean, like, it was just fun to watch. Like, I know the game is slow, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, no, MechAssault was only on the Xbox. May have been MechWarrior 4. I mean, that's around the time. But, like, it was just cool because they would watch... Like, it wasn't so much about the commentary as it was trying to figure out how players were going about, like, getting at each other.
Right.
And, I always found it entertaining. But then again, anything with robots captures my interest, so...
True, very true. Yeah, so MechWarrior, just be on the lookout for it. Something else we should get to. The three of us all saw movies.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So which one are we going to talk about first?
Good.
I could get mine out of the way pretty quick.
Yeah, go for it, Shane. You do yours
go
first.
for it.
So if you remember around
as he goes
around what was it, like episode 40 maybe? I don't know. There was an episode where Nick was like, "Oh, guess what comes out in October?" It's the My Little Pony movie. And fun thing, I actually got one of my friends who has no interest in My Little Pony to watch it.
Okay.
Did you bribe them?
Yes. So,
Excellent.
Ashley bought a ticket for my younger brother because we wanted to go hang out with him, and we figured he'd be willing to give the movie a chance for the sake of he's always interested in trying to see stuff about animation.
Sure.
But he couldn't go, and so I called up my buddy Derek, and I was like, listen, you're the person who lives closest to me, and also, we need to trade Pokemon. Do you want to go see this movie with us, and you get a Chick-fil-A dinner out of it?
Nice.
And he did, and I mean, we had the ticket, so he didn't pay for it. And he was like, sure, I'm down. I told him he could bring his girlfriend if he wants. He goes, she's not interested. But it was cool. It's not like a revolutionary movie by any means.
Sure.
It's a kids movie. It's made for little girls. Definitely feels like it. It wasn't, honestly, it wasn't something I was like. I thought I might be bored by it. These things tend to be predictable, but it was fun. It was definitely different from how they normally do the show. But the thing I actually really enjoyed about watching this movie was it wasn't done in Flash. The movie was made with Toon Boom.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
This was the first real cinematic venture for the latest Toon Boom animate, I think.
Right.
And that's fucking cool. And it showed off that program is seriously powerful.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dope.
That and not really chill is really to say. It's a fun little movie. If you like ponies, you're gonna like it. The one thing that was really cool though was the guy who let me look it up real quick. Because is Lee, what's his last name? Schreiber?
Lee Schreiber?
He played Wolverine's brother, the Wolverine.
Yeah,
okay.
I know who you're talking about.
He's the
now.
voice of the bad guy in the movie.
Oh, okay.
And it was really interesting because his whole thing about it is, I wanted to make a movie my kids could see.
Okay.
Yeah, that's most people's excuse.
Well, no, that's because he goes, yeah, I took my kids to see the Wolverine movie, and he goes, yeah, and then I realized like halfway through one of my scenes, I'm disemboweling Will.i.am. I was like, what the? My kids can't watch this, so he did the My Little Pony thing, and he was, even though his character was on screen for a long time, he had some fucking good lines, and he did voice acting really well. Yeah,
that's
like
cool.
He sold a character in a way that was really interesting.
Yeah, it's good when an actor, no matter if they're big or small, or I don't know how you classify Lee Schreiber class-wise as actor, but it's really disappointing when they spend all this kind of money on an actor to be in an animated film and their voice just falls flat.
Well, so they went to him for one reason. They go, we need someone who sounds intimidating because we want you to play the villain. And he was like, "Fuck me," because he heard animated film, and he was like, he practically signed on before he read the script. Because he was like, "Oh, this is perfect," and they're like, "Yeah, we want you to be the villain." He's like, "I can't fucking escape," which ultimately. That's what happened. They had a huge. They had some A-list guys in this My Little Pony movie. Cool. Which is interesting because what was it? They had Sia, I think it is the singer who doesn't show her face ever. Sia.
Oh, I know. I know. Who you're talking
she's
about.
in it, which was fucking. She sings. She's obviously like it's really good to hear her voice. They had let's see, Zoe Saldana. That was right, like Michael Pena. He's in it. He plays this, and I didn't even know it was him. And who was Emily Blunt's in it. She plays like one of the villains. Okay. They have if you look at it, it's actually a pretty impressive voice cast. And obviously they have Tara Strong, who's just an all-star voice acting.
Well, yeah, I mean, isn't she one of the main?
She is the main character. She is Twilight. She is like that. I don't know. She's like the ultimate. She's all of them, basically. She is. But so it was cool. And that's about it. Like, fun movie, good for kids. Definitely
I actually liked it.
Oh yeah, she loved it. And I mean, my friend who has no interest in My Little Pony was like, "Yeah, it actually had its moments."
Okay,
yeah,
fair enough. Me and Will had a talk in the car on the way home from it. I think, and we're talking about, was it Slender the Awakening or something like that? And it's like, what would you rather do, play Slender or go to the fucking pony movie?
I snap at that moment, was like, My Little Pony, I'll do that. Yeah. So I hate jump scares. Jump scares are they get me every time. You know, fucking just, they're the worst. And when it's like bang after bang of just jump scares, it's just like, it's a miserable time for me.
I think it's funny that you won't play Slender the Awakening, even though you and I watched all of Marble Hornets.
Hold on, Shane. I've played Slender the Awakening.
Oh, okay.
I've played it up until, because there's more content. There's now like more levels to it, and yeah, we've watched Marble Hornets, and you know I love it. But like how I've typically played it is in, you know, lights off, you know, big room, bright ass TV, up close in front of it, like just in like all the ways. It's like, yep, this could probably make me shit myself. Every damn this, and with a decent sound system, so you just hear every little fucking thing. Yeah, no, it's yeah. But so saying all that, I thought it was really interesting how little I jumped during it, and I'm thankful for that, because it was fucking awesome. Like, holy Christ.
Yeah, it was a great movie.
Was it not scary? Was it scary? Like,
there's intense parts, yeah, and there were some jump scares. But I cheated, so I knew what the jump scares were.
Yeah. There were, I think, like 2 or 3 that probably got me. There was one that definitely got me because I was. Oh yeah,
you were out of your seat.
Yeah, I was not ready for it at all. But the nice thing about the It movie is, for me, I wouldn't consider it a scary movie. Nick's right. It's an intense movie. It's horrifying and disturbing in that aspect, but it's not scary in your kind of atypical horror film.
Yeah. It also has a low body count for anything with a killer clown entity monster thing in it.
Yeah. The thing that they did right in this movie is the juxtaposition. So you have this intense, horrible thing happening to this town that's all propagated by this fucked up clown entity, interdimensional creature, and then you have a coming of age story where you get to watch these kids be kids. In their kind of little nowhere town, you know, go through summer vacation, while, you know, learning, like, becoming closer friends in a sense. So there are points where you forget that you're watching a horror movie because you get to watch, like, these kids act like jerks to each other and dick on each other and go on adventures.
Yeah, and they're kids. That's the thing I loved about it. The banter between all of them is great. Yep. I mean, some of the best lines were something. Well, Richie set it up a lot. The character Richie. Yeah. And I love the line where they're basically talking about Beverly and how, like, there's a rumor going around that she's basically, like, promiscuous. Yeah. And he said something like the line, which was, "I hear the list is longer than my wang." Oh. And Stanley said, "Well, that's not saying much."
Oh, it's either that or he says it's a short list, I guess.
Yeah, it's a short list or something.
Yeah. It's like these great, just fucking one-line bangers of just shitting on each other that make you forget that you're watching this, this clown terrorize people. And
and they swear too. Oh yeah, like. That's the thing. It's like these guys are 13 years old. They are going to swear. They're going to tell each other, "Shut the fuck up." Yeah. And they do. And like that to me is real. I can't stand movies that don't do that. It's unrealistic to me. But yeah, it's a great movie. There's a lot of great just moments in it that are just great scene moments, and like you realize that the kids are kids but they're growing up kind of thing. Yeah. But then it falls in line with Pennywise and Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. I mean, like, it's not Tim Curry. Tim Curry, that was his thing. This is Skarsgård's thing.
Oh my god.
And it's totally different, and it's great.
Yeah, his it is not a person I'd ever want to meet in my life ever. His enunciation on certain syllables, like the hard T's he put on everything that needed it, just like the kind of the cadence of his voice, of like how much of a pause it was between words, like just felt meticulous and uncomfortable. His it is a creepy, uncomfortable, horrible person I'd never want to meet in a back alley, because I'm pretty sure I'm not coming home.
Yeah, there's one scene that really sums it up, and it's when he comes out of the fridge.
Oh, dude, that's such a great scene.
He comes out of the fridge and he untangles himself, and it's a great weird film. It's a great weird scene, and he's terrorizing Eddie, who's a hypochondriac.
Yeah,
and Eddie's backing up, and he straightens himself out, and then he kind of just like bends a little bit and goes, "Time to float, Eddie."
Yeah.
And then he starts doing this weird walk dance towards Eddie. And Eddie's like trying to back up, and he's screaming, and then like
Eddie has a broken arm as well at this point.
Yeah,
so like he's trying to cradle it.
Yeah, and then like Pennywise takes his hand and kind of like wafts air to himself, and he smells Eddie's fear.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Oh, yes," and then he just jumps on him, and he goes, "Tasty, tasty fear," and he's drooling, and it's creepy, and it's perfect. Especially when all of a sudden he just smiles, and it's just nasty teeth, and he starts to unhinge his jaw to eat. It's a great scene, but it's like, holy fuck.
Yeah, honestly, Shane, I think you would really enjoy this movie. Like, it has the perfect amount of tension with the perfect amount of tension breaking.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'll probably watch it. I'm just not seeing it on a big screen.
That's fair. That's fair.
That, and I want.
I will say that the sound that you get from being in a theater, just because it's kind of that surround sound experience, feels great. It kind of gives you that kind of nice visceral experience. But I can totally respect wanting a pause button.
Yeah. I have never been more tense going to a movie.
Yeah, dude.
Even with my cheating.
Yeah.
I've never been more tense.
You were pretty like I guess when your body language reads closed off, compacted, kind of like tight during the movie.
Yeah.
It read as I want no part of any of this.
Yeah, I didn't, and I don't know why. What compelled me to want to even go see it? But it was just like, I think it was the fact that a lot of people are saying it's actually a great coming of age movie, and it's a great movie in general. And I'm like, fine.
Are you glad you saw it?
I'm glad I saw it. The thing I'm glad about it is it also didn't stick with me in the sense that I wasn't creeped out when I went to bed that night.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing that I don't like. I don't like when a movie makes me uncomfortable and I can't do anything else.
Right, and that's why it's like, as much as it is a horror movie, it's not at the same time. And I think that's really cool, because you don't walk away going, well, I'm not going to sleep well for the next night because that's going to haunt my nightmares. You know, it's definitely unsettling. Definitely, like, it's just an awful thing to look at, but there's the amount of tension breaking that they did was so smart that you in a sense you have this kind of false sense of security at times, but it's comfortable. You laugh, like to give you an idea, we got there and it was in one of the smaller theater rooms. You know, that's a kind of telltale that this movie's kind of on its way out from showing, and that theater was fucking packed.
Yeah,
we got lucky to find a 2 seats together, like just to sit.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that shit's crazy to me when a movie's been it has shifted kind of in those smaller theaters and it's still like packed with people and they're trying to find a decent seat.
I told Will that this movie cost $35 million to make, and I think they've grossed like $300 or $400 million. Yeah. So a sequel is definitely happening.
Yeah, sequel for sure is happening.
Yeah. And who I don't know. I think that worries me. It's going to lose the feel of the whole coming of age thing, especially because we're going to be dealing with adults.
Sure. And
especially adults that I think have been warned. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to go back to. And
that's something that if they do it right, they'll capture most of the feeling. The feeling of innocence will definitely be gone, which I think is how you want it to go on, how you want it to continue. But if they keep the rest of the feeling of the movie minus that, I think it'll still be as impactful. We won't know until it gets closer to their kind of release date. There are no trailers for it. We know for sure that there is a second movie in the works, because at the very end of the movie it ends with It Chapter 1. It's like there was kind of an audible groan in the theater of people like, shit, I gotta see another one of these. Fuck. Yeah.
Well, it was funny is that groan happened and then we heard Pennywise's laugh.
Yeah. So we waited to the very end of the credits and it came up with that It, and you hear Pennywise's laugh and it's like, oh, that's a good way to end it.
So, it'll be interesting to see who plays who.
Yep.
In 2019, that's it's slated for September 2019.
Cool. I'm excited for it. I didn't think I'd be excited for it, but I'm excited for it.
I'm excited for it, but I'm going to do the same thing I did with the first movie.
Dude, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. I'm going to go in. I'm going to go in blind, and I don't
call me a pussy. No, I'm going to do the same fucking thing and cheat.
You did the thing. You did the thing to make the movie comfortable for you. Hell no.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, it's like you guys know my history. It's just I don't want my head fucked with, and I don't like being that uneasy. I have anxiety enough. Yeah. Okay, I don't need fiction to do that too.
Exactly. Alright, so to continue with the movies that we've seen, I ended up going to see a movie. I went and saw it with my parents, because I asked my mom, I'm like, hey, you want to go see this movie? And she was aggressively nodding her head like, yeah, I want to go see it. And I ended up seeing Blade Runner 2049. And if you're a fan of Blade Runner, this is a great movie for you. You'll enjoy it. If you've never seen Blade Runner, but you're intrigued by Blade Runner 2049, go watch the original Blade Runner. If you like that, go see this movie. If you've never seen Blade Runner, don't touch this movie. Don't even look at it. Just ignore it. It's not a movie for you. And if you hate the first movie, well, follow the last one. It is a movie made to continue a story. Like it feels like it picks up. It's definitely not directly after the first Blade Runner. There is a decent sized gap of time, and they try to address that with some text box at the very beginning of the movie. And you get a sense of like, oh yeah, time has kind of changed, things have passed. Kind of things are there's a new system that exists. But if you don't have any of the context from the first movie, you can get lost very quickly, and it doesn't take.
Yeah, I heard there's 2 or 3 short films that are supposedly to fill in the gap up to this movie.
That'd be interesting. I'd be interested to see what they do with that. I think overall the movie was awesome. It actually feels like a true sequel to Blade Runner.
That's cool.
The first one. Yeah. Like it's banger on par with the first one.
Cool.
Yeah, the world is definitely brighter this time. If you've ever seen the first Blade Runner, that movie is dark. It is night most of the time, or they're in a very poorly lit building. These people have never heard of electricity apparently, yet there are visual signs everywhere. So go figure. This movie, while there are moments where they're in dark rooms and stuff, the lighting looks poor. there are more scenes where it is brighter. There are a lot more scenes where they're out in like the middle of nowhere. So it's instead of it's definitely not blue skies and everything. It's gray overcast skies, but it's still there's still brightness around them. So I thought that was good. Pacing for the movie is, if you like the pacing of the first movie, you'll accept the pacing of this movie. The movie is like 2 hours and 40 some odd minutes. It's almost a 3 hour long movie. There were times where I'm like, okay, you could probably chop this down a little bit faster. You could make this a little bit shorter. There was, I think, one scene where I was like, I get its symbology, but it doesn't need to be there. It was a scene that I didn't feel was most necessary, but it kind of harkens back to another scene we had seen. So if you're okay with kind of a slower movie, kind of more for the visuals, visual storytelling, then it's a totally fine thing. I love the kind of twist that we got. It was a little predictable, but it was one that I still enjoyed. And there are some great moments where if you don't, I guess I'll spoil a little bit of it. If you don't know, Ryan Gosling's character plays, in a sense, the new model replicant. And he's referred to as Officer K. He has like a big, long slew of numbers and identification, but he's just Officer K. And his character comes off very robotic, until about halfway through the movie, where he has the most human emotional breakdown that kind of makes you go, wait, I thought they got rid of human elements, the kind of human element from these robots. They're not supposed to kind of emote like that. They're supposed to be kind of more obedient and subservient, and not he has an outburst that was like fucking scary as shit. Like I think he kicks a chair across the room, and I was like, damn, all right, this dude is he seems a little more human than normal. And it does kind of give you this question of, as much as they've tried to make the replicants, servants and not human, is it still impossible to make something that is akin to humans, not human? Like, can you make something that looks and acts and functions like a human, not feel or emote like a human? And it kind of makes you question, did it succeed? Were they successful? And I think you kind of come away with no, in a way. But I do have my kind of complaints with the movie. That is the audio, not the music in the movie. And it may just be the theater we went to was fucking overbearing. I was sitting with my folks, and I'm sitting next to my mom, and I look over, and the music is so goddamn loud that she has her fingers in her ear to block the noise.
Yeah, that sounds like a bad system.
It hit you like a goddamn truck, and it's like just overly intense at points. And there were times where it made sense, and if you've heard any of the soundtrack bits from like the trailers or stuff, or like some of it may have been leaked onto online. Some of the tracks, they kind of make sense to the ambience of the movie, but other times it just feels unnecessary. Like, it just feels that they didn't really need that audio track there. It just feels purposeless. And at times, and again, this may be just the theater we're at times the music overshadowed the actors speaking. Like, I couldn't hear what they were saying. And I think I have decent hearing, or I'm used to like loud sounds. There was a point where like it was starting to hurt my ears. Like it was starting to like really like ache. There's also one scene where I was shocked that they added any musical audio that didn't come from the environment they were in. And it was like someone took the Inception bwang button and like accidentally smashed it, and they're like, oh, this works for this scene, let's sparse it out and do it 2 more times. And
no.
And it's a scene where Ryan Gosling's character is walking into this casino where Decker is, and there's no one in Vegas anymore. It's dust covered. No one lives there because of radiation. I think a bomb fell there, if I remember correctly. So the whole place is vacated, and it's dead silent. And all you hear is his footsteps as he's walking up to this building. But what takes you away from it, and kind of this is kind of the problem with a lot of the music in the movie, is it takes you away from certain moments, is they just unnecessarily slapped in this intense bwang, and then it went quiet again. It's like, whoa, what? Why? You didn't need that. And it's like, after that...
It sounded like that scene should have been quiet. It sounded like that scene should have been quiet because he's going to a place he probably shouldn't be at.
Right, and it's such a great scene because it's tense because there is no sound. It's tense because the only sound you hear is his walking and moving in the world. And then, like, later on, someone playing the piano from a distant room that kind of... Gosling's character kind of looks over to that area and starts walking towards it. Those sounds are totally... They make sense. Those sounds worked. And it was once he finally got into the building, did they get rid of any of the musical audio that was unnecessary. And I was just like, why'd you have any of it to begin with? Like, this was a scene that was perfect because it was silent. And it was creepy, and it was uncomfortable, it was tense. And it spoke volumes to what his character was doing, and you fucked it up by adding 3 unnecessary button pushes. And that, I think, is like my biggest gripe with the movie is sometimes the audio pulls you out of the movie experience, and because it's just too overbearing and too intense, and it just doesn't, or in many cases, it doesn't fit the scene. Again, that all said, I still love the movie because it feels like the sequel to Blade Runner 1. It feels correct. It makes sense. It feels good.
I heard reviews that say the same thing, where it's like they didn't take what happened today. They didn't take anything in our history, like verbatim.
Yep.
They just took and extended that world in 30 years?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So, it works.
Right, and that is how you should do it if you want it to just kind of stay within its created world. Like, you don't need any of the excess politics. You've created a world. Don't bring any unnecessary garbage into it. And so like I really loved the movie for that. But yeah, just these kind of like I feel like I want to talk to like the editor who was doing music, or like the composer who was doing music, and just kind of question why did you add this to this scene? Why did you feel it was necessary in this scene? Because I want to know their thought process. Because yeah, I feel like it just was very much out of place. But yeah, I loved it, and again, I love the first Blade Runner. So for me, that's why I preface it. If you like Blade Runner, go see this movie. You'll really love it. It'll really be impactful, and it'll feel like an actual sequel to a movie that's years old. And it feels like an actual sequel done right. A lot of people are like, this is almost better than the first one. And I'd say, yeah, in some capacity it is. And in other places it isn't.
Until they come out with, 5 different versions.
God, I hope they don't. I think, honestly, with how it ended, you don't need to go any further. Well, I mean, you can. Yeah. There is definitely a story that can be told that continues from the end of the movie, but I think you don't need to. I think I was happy with how it ended, because it just was kind of like perfect and pure and kind of wrapped up very good. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did a lot this week.
Yeah, dude, it's been a busy week.
3 movies is a big thing.
Yeah, man.
So, well, yeah. See it. Maybe see the Pony movie, and
if you like Blade,
see Blade Runner. So long as you like the first one.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I guess we should wrap up now.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
definitely.
Thank you for listening. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe on iTunes. If you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. If you're on Facebook, give us a share, and if you're on our website, definitely leave a comment.
For sure.
Yeah, leave a comment and keep liking our page. Get us past 100.
If you've seen those movies, tell us what you thought of them.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Tell us what you thought of it and Blade Runner and Ponies.
Yeah.
All right. And I guess with that, we are out.
Yep, yep.
Later.
Deuces, y'all.
Later days.